Okay, so this is mini quiz 1 that we took the last 2 days of class. So let's get started. So we're looking at 150 centimeters cubed. What is the volume of this tissue box? And what a lot of people, this was the most missed question on the quiz. What most of us forgot was from the notes that 1 centimeter cubed is equal to 1 mil, right? So knowing that makes this question extremely easy because 150 cubic centimeters, if it's a 1-to-1, is just equal to 150 milliliters. Okay, make sure you have your label there, but there is your answer. For number 2, this was from the notes as well, 2 temperature scales that we will use this year. Many of us got Celsius. Now, if you spelled it right, I don't even know if I'm about to spell it right, Celsius, and that is degrees Celsius because you needed the name and the symbol, so degrees Celsius, but also Kelvin, and the symbol for that is just K. Now, if you put both of these, many people either forgot the degree Celsius or they put the degree on Kelvin, and there is no degree. It says that in the notes, and we went over that for a second in class, but this is what you should have for each one. Once again, the spelling of these I did not take off as long as it was close. For number 3, circle any of the following measurements which only have 2 sig figs, which means that's a no because that's insignificant, insignificant, insignificant. C was a very common wrong answer because significant, significant, but that means that these 2 sig figs also sandwich that one, which means there is 3 there. In A there is 1, and in B there is 1. Same with D. Significant, significant sandwich rule, there are 3 in D. With E, sig fig, sandwich sig fig, final 0 after, which makes that a significant number. So there's 4 there. All right, we're looking for only 2, so none of them have 2 so far. F, significant trailing after the decimal, so there is our first one. And then G, sig fig, trailing after the final, trailing after the decimal, and that's a placeholder, so this one has 2. So there's our second one. And finally, significant, and then those 2 are significant because they're trailing after the decimal, so this one has 3. So your only answers that you should have circled are F and G here. All right, number 4, what is the correct answer using sig fig? So in this case, we needed to add each one of these numbers up, and it might have been easier if you did something like this on the side because you weren't allowed to use a calculator. So our calculated answer is 0.8 and then 6, 9, 29.800. But because we're adding sig figs, we look at numbers after the decimal. So this one has 3 sig figs after the decimal. This one has 2. This one has 1, which means that I have to have my 1 after the decimal. That's the weakest link rule. Now this 29 doesn't count towards that amount of sig figs because I'm only worried about it after the decimal, which means it's 29. If I look over here, 0.8 is my answer. Okay. For number 5, it says how many sig figs should be in your answer when you do this math problem. Now, a lot of you did this math problem and you didn't need to. Okay. What I was looking for is like when I do this math, how many sig figs should be in my answer? Well, the rule for multiplying and dividing is we look at all of the digits. So in this case, there's 3, and in this case, there is 2, and in this case, there is only 1 sig fig. So the weakest link rule means I have to report 1 sig fig, and so 1 is your answer because that tells me how many sig figs should be in that answer. Okay, so there's your answer key for the first mini quiz.